Hi guys, it's Sarah from Palace Tarot, and we're doing our astrology review here. And I've been told that it's more helpful to go sign by sign with these reviews so that we can kind of flesh them out a little bit more before we get to the planets. So that way we have a little bit more of an understanding about what's going on. Additionally, I'd like to add, if you are watching these and you're saying, well, I am a Taurus, but I really feel like I relate more to the description of Libra, for example, write that sign down. Because when you do your chart, there's a really good chance that that sign's going to figure pretty prominently in your astrological chart. So bear in mind, this is just general sun sign astrology. With that being said, let's get started. So right now we're going to be talking about Virgo. That's next up here. So Virgo is the mutable earth sign, okay? It's yin, feminine receptive, okay? And like Libra, which we're going to talk about shortly, it has the co-ruler of Mercury, that planet, okay? And its symbol is the Virgin, okay? So let's go ahead and talk about Virgos. They have so much wisdom to give. They are the sign I feel like that is most likely to dispense advice that they themselves have a great difficulty in following. And if there's two signs that are in danger of really being overgivers, I would definitely have to say that Virgo and Cancer would probably be at the top of that list. Virgo's super smart, very introverted type people, very focused on learning in general, and it doesn't matter what kind of learning it is, very analytical minds. Like Gemini, because they share that Mercury co-ruler, they're really people that need a lot of intellectual stimulation too. But unlike Gemini, they need some emotional stimulation going on too, and positive emotional stimulation at that, because I swear more than any other sign, Virgos can just kind of tie themselves emotionally up in knots. So the part of the body, one of the parts of the body that Virgo rules is, the intestinal tract actually. And if you think about it, that's where most of the water that we have that composes our body is absorbed. And so, if something's off balance with a Virgo, it's going to have a big effect on them. So Virgo, very much, people that pay attention to their health, very much detail-oriented people. Like I said, very kind, good teachers as well. There are some signs that make some really good teachers in the mutable signs, and I would definitely say Virgo is one of the ones at the top of that list because they are so very analytical in their thinking. Another thing too, Virgos, if they're expressing their process in a constructive way, they'll go ahead and be some of the best organizers you've ever seen. And that applies not just to organizing people, but especially paying attention to details like finances, from organizing your freaking closet, okay? So these are the people in the zodiac that know how to organize things and follow through with things. They are very much detail-oriented people. So that's a really strong strength to have as a sign. But the downside of that is they can become obsessive, like say, they want to organize their house. Well, they can't see anything but the disorganization, so they can't even get started with it. So Virgo can have that problem where they just overthink things and they've tied themselves in such knots that they can't see the trees for the forest right in front of them. It can become a problem. That's one of the shadow sides of Virgo. And Virgos are also very intuitive people as well. It is a yin sign. And I have noticed that Virgos themselves, even though they tend to kind of get a little bit wrapped up in, what's going on at the moment or what's going on in the future and overthink things, they tend to have really good gut feelings. And so the key for them really is to kind of follow those gut feelings, because when they repress them, that's when they end up with health problems and, even some self-destructive tendencies I've noticed in some Virgos. So, they really want to be expressing that positively and making sure that they're caring for others, but also giving back to themselves, because like I said, they can be overgivers, okay? So we've got two cards here that are associated with Virgo. If you see people reading tarot and they're like, oh, this might be a Virgo, that's why they're saying this. So I'm going to show you two different cards here. We're not getting into the court cards yet. So the main card for Virgo and the major arcana is the Hermit, okay? Because like I said, guys, Virgo has a lot of inner wisdom to impart. They're really good at giving advice, whether or not they follow it. And they're also very introspective. I think we've touched on that. So they're introspective. It can be both positive if it's taking them in a productive and practical way, or it can be negative if they're ruminating on something. So this energy, the way it's expressed, just kind of depends on, the individual Virgo, the placements, transits, what's kind of going on with them as a person. So you really want to see that positive expression of someone that can be there and provide advice and be that kind of guiding voice, as opposed to beating themselves up, okay, and criticizing themselves. Virgo is also, like I said, ruled by Mercury, as is Gemini. So again, we have Mercury's trump card here of the Magician. So Virgo can really get a lot done. If they are not obsessing over the details, they can make things happen, okay? So sometimes they need a partner to really feel secure in that, but ultimately Virgo knows how to communicate in a really positive and welcoming, kind of warm fashion, whereas Gemini can be a little bit more direct. And that warm positivity that Virgo has and brings to communication, it's very interesting, and it also can provide a really different perspective than you would think of. You'd be like, oh, I wouldn't have thought of that. And it would be something that a Virgo would think or want to take as a new perspective. So with that being said, we're going to move on to the next sign.